Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd?
I don't know. I thought you'd hesitate maybe even a bit, but no.
Nah, not at all. You know, that's
At one particular time, I did talk about, I did say Terence Crawford.
Okay.
Now, but what are we rating these fighters on? What are we rating these fighters on?
Floyd Mayweather's eyeball test.
That works for
You're
me.
eyeballing these guys. You watch Terence Crawford. You know why he has a problem getting the other welterweights in the ring with him.
boxing.
Yo, yeah, so if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
If I take Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime,
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there's a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
It'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
Nothing can hold me back. Nothing can hold me back. You know, like I said, I had to step back, regroup, get a new team, and came back stronger.
You gotta have 4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to be Floyd.
For prime, who would have won, Crawford or Mayweather? Prime for prime.
Crawford.
Really? Why?
Because Crawford is a unique kind of fighter.
When Canelo Alvarez lost to Terence Crawford, he said something that started the biggest fight outside the ring. He looked at Crawford and said Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather. Now these two boxing legends are going back and forth, and things are getting personal.
Stop throwing in ones, Chop. Start putting them together. Welcome. Good jab, Chop. Don't break. He's a beast. He's a beast. He's a beast, baby. Chop. Beast. Walk it, baby. Put them together. Okay. In the pocket work.
Hundreds of millions of views. Yeah, but when you're watching Floyd Mayweather,
Let me take you back to September 24, 2025. Las Vegas was buzzing. 70,000 people packed the arena to watch Terence Crawford fight Canelo Alvarez. Everyone thought Canelo would be too strong, too experienced. But Crawford made it look easy. He showed power, patience, and bravery that night. Canelo had no answer. After the fight, Canelo held the microphone and said something nobody expected. Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather. These words came from a man who fought both of them, a man who knows what it feels like to be in the ring with two of the greatest fighters ever. Now, why does this matter so much? Well, back in 2013, Floyd Mayweather fought a young 23-year-old Canelo. Floyd was 36 years old and gave Canelo a boxing lesson that night. He made it look easy. That loss helped Canelo become better. He learned from it and became one of the biggest stars in boxing. But now, 12 years later, Crawford beat that same fighter. Except this time, Canelo was 35 years old. So people started asking, did Floyd fight a kid while Crawford fought an old man? Maybe both things are true. Let's talk about what makes these two fighters so special. Terence Crawford has won world titles in 5 different weight classes. He went from 134 pounds all the way up to 167 pounds. That's a huge jump. He won 20 world title fights and knocked out 15 opponents. But here's the crazy part. Crawford became the first male boxer ever to be undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes. That means he held all the belts in 3 different divisions. Nobody else has done that. Crawford beat some really tough fighters. He beat Errol Spence, who everyone said would destroy him. He beat Sean Porter, Amir Khan, and Kell Brook. These weren't easy fights. These were dangerous men who could punch and move. Crawford faced 8 unbeaten fighters in world title fights, 8 guys who never lost before, and he beat them all. Now let's look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd finished his career with 50 wins and 0 losses. Perfect record. He won world titles in 5 weight classes, starting at super featherweight in 1998 and going all the way to light middleweight. Floyd fought everyone. He beat Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, Shane Mosley, and Ricky Hatton. The list goes on and on. Floyd didn't just beat these guys. He made most of them look slow and frustrated. His defense was so good that fighters couldn't hit him. In most of his 12-round fights, Floyd only lost 1 or 2 rounds at most. But here's where it gets interesting. Before Crawford fought Canelo, he was asked about Floyd in an interview. Crawford said, "In my opinion, the best boxer in history is Floyd Mayweather. His punches were very powerful, and he managed to defeat virtually all of his opponents." So Crawford was giving Floyd massive respect before his big fight. Some people think this was a message. If Crawford beats Canelo, and Floyd already beat Canelo, then maybe Crawford could be as good as Floyd. After Crawford won, his tune changed a little bit. When reporters asked him to compare himself to Mayweather, Crawford said, "Floyd was the greatest of his era. I'm the greatest of my era. There is no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me." Crawford wanted to make it clear, they're both great, but they belong to different times, different eras. But Crawford also said something else that got everyone talking. Years of fighting smaller names had frustrated him. People said he only fought nobodies. After beating Canelo, Crawford was emotional. He said, "Anybody can be a nobody. They're saying all I fight is nobodies, so what can they say now? Somebody tell me what you can say now. Great things come to those who wait. The cream always rises to the top." You could hear the frustration in his voice. All those years of being doubted, of being blocked from big fights, it all came out. Now here's where things got messy. Before the Canelo fight, Crawford invited Floyd Mayweather to his training camp. Floyd came to help. He gave Crawford tips on defense, footwork, and positioning. They even sparred together. Everything seemed friendly. But then Floyd did something that surprised everyone. He posted a video of their sparring session on social media. In the video, Floyd looked better. He was dodging Crawford's punches and landing clean shots. Floyd's message was clear. He wanted to show people he's still the best. The video went viral fast, but Floyd deleted it after a few minutes. Too late though, everyone had already seen it. Fans started arguing. Some said the video proved Floyd is better. Others said sparring doesn't mean anything. Sparring is for practice, not for proving who's better. Fighters try different things in sparring. They make mistakes on purpose to learn. It's not the same as a real fight. Floyd also posted videos of himself sparring Roy Jones Jr. years ago. Floyd looked good in those videos too. He was taking shots at Roy Jones because Roy had said Floyd wasn't the greatest of all time. Roy said Julio Cesar Chavez went 80-0 at one point. That's better than Floyd's 50-0. Roy also criticized Floyd's last fight against Conor McGregor. McGregor had never boxed professionally before, so Roy didn't think that fight should count toward Floyd's perfect record. Floyd responded by saying, "Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Every fighter that gave the sport of boxing their whole life should feel that way. So if he feels that way, more power to him." Floyd tried to sound respectful, but posting those knockout videos of Roy showed his real feelings. Now let's talk about what the experts think. Max Kellerman, a famous boxing analyst, said something interesting. He thinks Floyd was a better defensive fighter than Crawford, but Crawford is a better offensive fighter. Max said, "I think Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense." Max also pointed out that Floyd's list of opponents is more impressive, but Floyd was careful about when he fought certain guys. Crawford, on the other hand, wanted to fight everyone all the time. Tim Bradley, a former world champion, said something bold. He thinks Crawford would beat Floyd. Tim said Terence Crawford will whoop his ass. He will beat Floyd Mayweather. Floyd struggled against southpaws. Crawford fights as a southpaw sometimes. He can switch between orthodox and southpaw stance. That's very rare and very hard to deal with. Bob Arum, one of the most powerful promoters in boxing, also picked Crawford. When asked who would win in their prime, Arum said Crawford, just because Crawford is a unique kind of fighter that other fighters haven't seen, and the ability that he has to switch. Fighters aren't used to that. They don't train for that. But not everyone agrees. Errol Spence Jr., who lost to Crawford, still thinks Floyd is different. Spence said, "Floyd's just different. I feel like he's the best fighter of all time. It's certain things that Floyd does that are real tricky." Spence talked about how Floyd would do little things in the ring, like squeezing his nose during clinches so he couldn't breathe. Mental games that frustrated opponents. Oscar De La Hoya, who lost to Floyd, said Floyd is the best trainer I've ever had in my life. He would revitalize his style. He would make him a new fighter. That's how great Floyd is. Even the guys Floyd beat respect his genius. Shane Mosley, another fighter who lost to Floyd, picked Crawford. Shane said, I think Crawford is better. He's bigger, he's moving weight classes. He would have kept him at bay. It would be hard for Mayweather to counter maybe. Size matters in boxing. Crawford is naturally bigger than Floyd. Here's what makes this debate so hard. Floyd and Crawford are only 10 years apart. They were both fighting professionally at the same time, but they never fought each other. Floyd was dominating the 2000s and early 2010s. Crawford's prime came in the mid-2010s to now. Their paths never crossed when both were at their best. When someone asked Crawford directly who would win between him and prime Floyd, Crawford didn't hesitate. He said, me. No questions. Why would you think that I would say Floyd? That's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, no. Crawford is confident. He respects Floyd, but believes in himself. Crawford also praised Floyd's dedication. He said, if I take Floyd in his absolute prime and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime, Floyd Mayweather. Floyd beat everybody. Floyd, man, that boy is the GOAT. What makes it is that Floyd trains. It's his life. From the very beginning, he said, I want to be the best. The age question matters here. When Floyd fought Canelo, Canelo was only 23. When Crawford fought Canelo, he was 35 years old. That's a 12-year difference. Fighters slow down as they get older. They lose speed, power, and reflexes. So did Crawford beat an old, worn-down Canelo while Floyd beat a young, inexperienced one? It's a fair question. But Crawford moved up 2 full weight classes to fight Canelo. Floyd never did anything that crazy. Crawford went from super welterweight to super middleweight. That's jumping from 154 pounds to 167 pounds. That's a huge jump. Floyd responded to all this by saying Crawford shouldn't even be on the pound-for-pound list. That was a direct shot. Floyd was trying to discredit Crawford's achievements. But that backfired. Most people think Crawford absolutely belongs on that list. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN said, Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Other champions like Dmitry Bivol, Alexander Usyk, and Artur Beterbiev all agree. They all called Crawford the pound-for-pound #1. So where does this leave us? Crawford says they're from different eras, and there's no need to compare. Floyd keeps trying to prove he's still the best by posting old sparring videos. The experts are split down the middle. Some pick Floyd for his defense and perfect record. Others pick Crawford for his versatility and willingness to take any fight. The truth is, we'll probably never see them fight. Floyd is either 48 or 50 years old now. Crawford is 38. A real competitive fight doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe an exhibition bout could happen. That would be wild to watch, even if it's not for real. Both men have earned their place in boxing history. Floyd went 50-0 and beat everyone from his generation. Crawford became undisputed in 3 weight classes and beat the biggest star in boxing. They both deserve respect. But as long as Canelo's words hang in the air, this debate will never end. Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather. Or is he? That's what everyone's still arguing about. What are your opinions on this matter? Write them down in the comments below.